Hey everyone. So let's start off by saying hi to everyone. Welcome to Laundry Talk. I am Liz, the creator of Laundry Talk here on YouTube. And today I have some Q&A, so some questions and answers, or basically you ask questions and I answer. I have a few questions that I have gotten either on social media or personally from friends and family or some parents from my daycare. So I will start off with that until people start, getting connected, logging on, and then we'll continue with some questions that you may have. So, like my background, I just recently set this up. This is my art section. I have math and reading and all that for my kids as well as for my own personal children. So let's get started. I don't want to take too long into jumping into the questions. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Hope you're having a great lunch. I already ate some yummy food that my mom made. I felt so bad because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. And she actually made food for us. So I will make it up to her. Don't worry. So the first question is, how do you make a toddler feel comfortable either on their first day or generally on their first week when they start daycare? This is from the perspective of me being a daycare provider. So it's a good question because I've actually had a few children starting in the last couple of weeks and starting, in the next couple of weeks. So the way I make them feel comfortable is when we do the interview process, I have a series of questions that I ask parents, just one to make them feel comfortable that they're going to leave their children in, my daycare's care. And also because I want to get to know the children. So when they come in, they can feel comfortable, they can feel at ease, and they don't have those anxieties, those fears, though that uncertainty that children have when they start in a new place, or generally when anyone starts in a new place. So what I do is I make sure I get to know that child. I'm going to give you one example. I had a child start recently and I asked the parent, what do they like, what they don't like, what are their favorite things to eat? Something that they hands down love to eat all the time and will not say no to it no matter where and when. And so that helps me get to know that child. So that first day when that child comes in or that first week when they start, I want to make sure that I give them those things that they like to eat, those snacks, the meals that they prefer best. Also, this particular child loved trains. So I happen to have a real big train, like collection of trains. I have over a dozen. And I also have the tracks. So that child has been loving, loving, loving that activity since day one. And actually, it's become a routine. So when the child comes in, the first thing, he walks over, finds his space where he put it the last time, and he just plays with it for a while until he gets comfortable. And basically that's his morning routine, how he gets into it, how he breaks the ice of the day. Maybe he had a weekend with his family and misses them very much, and it's like, okay, I don't want to talk with someone right now, I don't feel like participating in something right now, let me just start what I know, and then from there he takes it on and participates in other activities that we do throughout the day. And at the end of the day, when everyone's kind of going home, if he doesn't get picked up too early, then that's also an activity that he goes to. So getting to know the child, having conversations with that child throughout the day about things they like or what do they prefer, involving them as much as they let you involve them. Like sometimes kids don't talk to me. They don't want to participate in something. So knowing a little bit about them, it's like a good way to make them feel comfortable and open up to you and trust you and build a bond between you and that child. So that's on answering the question, how do I make the children comfortable either on their first day or the first week in my childcare? The next question is coloring items. I have had so many parents throughout the years. I've been a daycare provider for over a decade, and I have had so many parents ask me questions on like, what can I give my kids to use for like coloring utensils, markers, crayons, pencils, anything you can recommend that my whole entire apartment or house is not going to end up like a Picasso drawing. So I recommend for markers, I recommend using no mess markers. They're great because they only color on specific books. So yes, you would have to buy the book that goes with the no mess markers. However, you are saving yourself from the headaches of having them on the wall, writing on the floor, or any furniture or surface that they can write on with a marker, because it only writes on the specific paper that comes with those markers. I mean, you can buy them separate, but meaning no mess markers and the no mess coloring book. So another thing is make sure you buy non-toxic everything. And an old T-shirt would be great if you don't have an apron, like a smock. If you don't have a smock for your kids when they're doing art, then an old T-shirt would be wonderful. They can use, and that would be great because you don't have to dirty their clothing. Having an open canvas, and by that I mean a space where they can color and express themselves artistically without messing up all your furniture. Now, when you give something to a child, like an activity, in this case coloring or drawing, make sure that it's not an endless activity. Like eventually a child will get tired of doing that particular activity and want to move on to something else. When you see the child is kind of like already tired, or they're changing the way they normally behave or getting angsty, just move it along and do something else. Don't pressure them. It's art. No one gets pressured for art. Art is supposed to be your way to express yourself for everything and anything. So once they're done, move it along to the next activity. Don't leave them sitting there, or else they're gonna spill things over, get up and put it everywhere, and that's when you get the big messes mainly. The next question is, how do I teach children a new language? For example, at my care or my own kids. So I speak English and I speak Spanish at home, and I teach English and Spanish at my childcare site. And so the way I teach it is, one important thing is make sure you have words or pictures. So at the beginning, when children start learning anything, when they start learning how to speak, when they start learning to read, to write, it's important that you have the image. Notice how when either you growing up, or if you have kids, if your children have gotten homework, if they're in school, notice how there's a lot of pictures going on. It's because that's the first way to learn how to read, and it's with pictures. So perhaps have, if you have the shoe rack or you have the cubbies, make sure it's labeled with the name, but also the picture, so they can make a connection between the name of the object or the name of the space, the station, and also the how it looks. So if you are talking about markers and you send a child to go get to the markers, make sure that on the outside of where the markers are, you have a picture, a label with a picture and a name, so that it's easier for them to make the connections and learn the order that the letters are in, and therefore learn how to read markers or pencils or cubbies, water station, whatever you're trying to teach them. Also, speak in both languages. Let them know the word in English and in Spanish. So for my children that are Spanish native speakers, and they do not understand English or don't know English when they first come to our daycare, I want to make sure they're comfortable. So I explain things in both languages. I answer their questions. I use my hands to express, or my face to express things. Exaggerate what you're saying. If you're like, oh, the day is sunny or the day is rainy, make sure that you use a visual. Make sure that you use pictures and words, things that can help them use their five senses to better absorb the new language. Either it's English to Spanish, Spanish to English, or any other language that you are introducing or you want to continue working on with the kids. And that works for anyone too, as well. It could be adults. The next question is, how do you teach children how to read? So again, the first way to teach children is using visuals, using pictures, using actions. That's the best way that you're going to teach the children how to be able to read later on. Showing them the words, and letting them know the order of those words is also helpful for them to retain the information, retain that image, and therefore later on be able to read. If you guys have any other questions and you did not make it to put them in the video, to ask them here live, then you can also put them in the comments down below and I will be able to answer those as well. So far I've been giving some tips or answering some questions on either parenting, which is motherhood, well, you could say fatherhood, or also I've been giving information and things on daycares, like if you have your child in a daycare, or if you have any questions about the daycare that you want to put your child in, make sure that now with everything going on, maybe you might not be able to do a physical tour or do a physical interview, but try to have as much information from where you're going to put your children before you do put them in a daycare. With everything going on, you want to make sure that more than ever, it's safe, it's clean, it's they're following guidelines, they are staying as safe as possible, and they are offering the best that they can offer during these times. Make sure that maybe do a tour with in a Zoom meeting with the daycare provider, since you cannot go in person. Make sure that they show you, where's your child going to be? How does it look like? Is there art all over? Is it their art, or they're just putting posters all around to make it look cute? Are they including your child's work, English, math, science, social studies, depending on the age of the child, depending on the group that the daycare has? Make sure that it's engaging. Make sure that they are considering your child's culture. They are considering your child's needs. They are considering your child's personality. All that has to be included in a daycare when you put your children, or anywhere you take your children for that matter. So that is also very important. This is coming from a daycare provider and also a parent with a small child as well. Now I wanted to say something about small businesses. If you have a small business, if you have your social media that you want to get out there and you want to share, please put it in the comments. Also, ask me a question about it. I do have social media for a while, not super long, but I have picked up some tips along the way. Also, as I said, I do have a daycare, so I have a small business. And if you want, I can help you promote your business. So let's grow together, let's help together, let's build this community, and let's do well together. So that's also something that I wanted to touch upon on this video. Again, if you have any questions in general about parenting and motherhood and small businesses or daycare life, ask me and I will answer them as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much all the time for supporting me, for being there from day one. Those of you that have been there with me from the beginning. Doing lives is a little nerve-wracking, it's sort of like you're being interviewed or interrogated, but no one's asking a question right now, so not exactly the case. But yeah, this is great. It takes me a little bit out of my comfort zone. And once I feel like I'm talking to someone that I trust and I'm talking to someone that is easygoing, like just focus on one person, then it makes it easier for me to open up and be comfortable. So again, recap, I spoke about making children comfortable when they first start daycare and they're going in for the first day or the first week. You want to make sure you know something about that child. You know a few things about that child. For when they come in and they see this new place, new people, new friends, new environment, possibly a new language, a new culture. It's a lot that you have to take in when a kid starts daycare, starts school. I mean, when you started a job, your first job, when you started in a community that was different, if you ever have done, I mean, it's difficult. So imagine a child doing so at an early age. Make them feel comfortable. Ask them some questions. If they don't want to be involved in an activity, let them be. Later on, they'll come around. Offer them something, maybe their favorite book. If they like trains, make sure you have a train book before that child starts. If that child likes LOL dolls, make sure you have yourself an LOL doll when that child starts your daycare. Or have a book on LOL doll, a coloring book, anything, Legos, whatever you can on the child's interest. Make sure you have that when that child starts, so that it makes it easier, with them. Um, any questions? Anybody want to ask me anything that I can answer now? Because I've kind of been over the questions that I had before I started. Oh, wait, want to see behind me? This is my art section again. I mentioned at the beginning. I've been waiting so long to make this section. It's so personalized. I have items for each of the kids I have here for when they want to just be on their own. And then I also have items that they can do as a community, as a group. And they love doing artwork. I'm going to actually move my camera so that I can show you guys some of the artwork the kids have done. Sounds good. While people are still logging on. So this over here, even though Easter has passed, I thought it was so creative and so nice. And they love coming every single day and pointing to their artwork, sharing it with their families, even though they've done so. And so we have some more artwork there too. There is work that the children have done all over. And that is something you want to see wherever you take your children. You want to make sure that your children's interests are met, that your children's interests are always, always considered. What they want, what they need, anything that has to do with your kids, you want to make sure that it's there. Again, if you, oh, somebody wrote something. I've been running my daycare for over a decade. And before that, I was a parent and I did tutoring. I worked at a charter school. I have worked one on one doing private tutoring with children as well, from kindergarten all the way to seventh grade. And I have three children. I have one in her 20s, one teen, and one toddler. So, yeah, it's interesting that I have basically 10 years between each of my daughters. And so I still have to keep up with the latest cartoons, the latest toys, and everything for my toddler. I have to step it up a notch with my preteen and make sure that I know the latest lingo or whatever it is that's popular now at that age, so that I can connect with her as I usually do, find something of interest with her. And then I have my adult daughter, and yeah, she's into, I don't know, she's into, like, maybe she's looking into like tattoos and things like that, like, an adult, and I also have to keep up with her. So, yep, three different generations. Oh, that's awesome. Playing with a Purpose has just said that she's been running her daycare for a while. Awesome. Congratulations to you. That is a very long time. That is older than I have been a parent. Nice. Yeah, honestly, I didn't really plan on waiting a decade between my kids, but it kind of just happened that way. And I mean, I wouldn't change it. It's great. Again, I get to keep up with the times for the toddlers, the teens or preteens, and the adults. I get to share with each of them special things that are of their concern, of their interest. And yeah, it just makes me feel like I'm more well-rounded because I have three kids of such a big age difference. I feel like I know so much. Even if I know a little of a lot, it's still good. Hey, baby. Well, as a parent, hey, mama. Yeah, mama's doing a live. That means that people are watching me. I don't like to cut out things when my daughter wants to. I mean, I'm not showing her, but when she wants to, be involved, as long as she's not screaming or anything, déjala, está bien, it's okay. Ven, Camila. As long as, she's not like screaming or anything, I like to make sure that I don't cut out these parts because I'm a mom. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and lie and say, kids don't scream and they don't do anything and I gotta handle 24/7. It's not the case. So I like to make sure that if she wants to be in the video and say hi for a moment, I don't think that's a problem. As I see other creators, other YouTubers, and they have their kids in their videos and they pay attention to them and their needs at the moment, I think that that's awesome, because you don't want to always tell the child, wait, I'm busy. Which is funny that I mentioned that, because I do have a video. If you want to check that out, it's called How to Discipline Your Children Without Hitting or Spanking, ages 0 through 5 years old. So you can check that video out. But if anything, I'll put the link on the description box for you guys. So good question. I'm licensed by the state. So I have the maximum capacity, which is up to 16 children, 12 for full time, and then I have four children that can come like an aftercare. But with everything that has happened and the school had been closed and a lot of kids doing remote learning and following the guidelines of safety and social distancing, I'm not able to care for the 16 children. So I could either, I think right now they're doing between 8 and 10. So right now I have five children at my care, which is good because there's plenty of space, plenty of activities that they can do and social distance within the time that they're here. So that was a good question. We do have some kids starting soon, so I will make accommodations and I will buy anything additional that they would need so that I can accommodate them. But we can hold up to 8 to 10 children within the space that I have. Yay, playing with a purpose. You're asking me so many awesome questions. You have five that you have currently, or that you could only care for five? Just wondering. I thought about having a daycare in Florida. I actually thought about Orlando, Florida, but it would just make it very difficult because I want to be able to be closer so that I can, see both sites, both facilities, be able to work with the staff on both places. And that would be kind of difficult, even though everything is like Zoom right now. So I don't know. Moving on to in the future, what happens? Oh, okay. But you have that's probably because there's two ways for daycares. Like if it's not in a daycare center, you could have either a family childcare or a group family childcare. I'm not sure if in Orlando. Oh, I'm sorry. You said Ontario. I'm sorry. Um, is it because you could only do five in general, that's it? Or do you just have a smaller group size? Here in New York, in the US, here in New York City, which is a state, a city and a state of New York and of the United States, we can have two, like I said, a family or a group family daycare. I have a group family daycare because I have ample space to be able to accommodate them. This was, again, pre-pandemic or even now. So there are daycares that only have a smaller amount of children, and that's because they have only been licensed to be a family, a childcare site. Only up to, I believe, it's six, between 5 and 7. You would need an assistant to have past 5. Also, another thing that the state requires is that if you have a child that is under the age of about a under the age of 2, you could that child will count for 2. So if I have 2 1-year olds, let's say, it's like having 4. So basically, the way they see it is you can have as many infants as you have arms, as you have, arms to hold them. In case something happens and you have to run out, you can only have as much of you have arms. So if you have infants, you could have one infant counts for 2. So 2 infant counts for 4. Now you see how much space you have for another child. You would only be able to have, in your case, you said in Ontario, you could only have 5 kids. Then basically you would have 1 infant, 2 infants, and one child of an age that's not an infant. That would be covering your 5 with only 3 children. Family daycare and oh, oh, that's interesting. Well, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Interesting to know. Yeah, I mean, again, you have when you're going to do. We're talking about small businesses. When you're going to open a daycare, you have to know what are the rules and regulations, policies that pertain to your area. I could be in the same state as another daycare provider, and possibly in their area, they're not going to allow certain things that they allow in, my region. So you have to make sure you do your research and you find out these questions, these answers to these questions before you start applying or before you open up and take the courses. Mm, okay. Well, that's interesting because that's twice as much than but that you see that's good. Oh, like for example, when I saw real quick, I thought you had said Orlando, which is in Florida, which is in the US before, but obviously wasn't the case. You said Canada. Uh so for example, in Florida, as I did research before to try to open a site in that state, I noticed that there are things that are a little like they're similar. So you have things that are similar in different regions, in different areas of the state. And then when you keep doing the research, you realize there are things that are very different. So depending on what area, what region of the state, of the city, I'm going to, I would open a daycare, and I would have to make sure I pay attention to those differences. Similarities, not so bad, but the differences you have to pay attention because it could be, very, very different. As you mentioned, where you are, you could only have 5 children, but now they're talking about potentially doing other models so that they can take 10. So if you're going to open a daycare, you probably want to try to open it in a place that takes 10 kids, unless it's not of your interest, unless you just want a small group. With more children, obviously comes more responsibilities, comes more accommodations, especially the way the world is with the social distancing and everything. But also keep in mind, you need staff. You need to have staff in order to accommodate the amount of children that you have. Well, thank you very much for asking a lot of questions. I just noticed this video went a little longer than I expected, but I had so much fun making it. I hope you guys had as much fun too. Thank you so much again to Playing with a Purpose for the awesome questions that you have given me and made me feel so comfortable answering them. So, I'm like getting tongue twisted. Damn, I'm hungry again. My mom's staring at me. Don't stare at me. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone who has seen this video and who will see this video after I'm no longer alive. I still appreciate the support no matter what. Thank you again for logging into Laundry Talk. I am Liz, the creator of Laundry Talk on YouTube, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to smile. Bye. And thanks again for the questions. Oh.